And I'm going to share the thesis formatting document that we've created. Okay, so here is like the kind of nuts and bolts of what your thesis title might look like. And for now, why don't you all just come up with a title, right? As best as you know it. Maybe you have one already, but go ahead and come up with a title. And then after you've done that, just go ahead and select all the text on that first page and center justify it. And then for the degree title, call it whatever your degree is. And most of you, except for Anna and let's see, I think most of you, well, two of you are Master of Science in Agriculture with a specialization in something. And then the two of you are your Master of Science in Food Science. And Anna's a Master of Science in Environmental Science and Management. Okay. Then you can put your full name and the month and the year that you plan to graduate.
On a title that has all caps and then you're using scientific names, do you use the italic?
Yeah, use the italics for the scientific name.
And not caps?
Not caps, yeah. Do it the way that it should appear.
Okay.
And you don't need to finish that up totally now, but right, just kind of maybe get it started. But the point is center justify for now, just the first page. And the next page is the copyright page. And the copyright page is the date should be the year that you plan to graduate. So whatever that is for now. And center justify that also. Just the bottom. And then you have your committee membership. Okay, all good so far? Yeah. So your committee membership is formatted already, ready to go. You just need to add in your committee members, but the place that we're going to focus is on the heading here. Okay, so it's already been given a heading, and there's a couple ways that we know that. And one tool that I think is useful is using this paragraph tool here. And if right now it's selected, if I click off of it, you'll see that my formatting has been removed on the document, right? And then if I click on it again, you'll see that the formatting, that is the spaces where I've hit enter, right? Those have been put in with paragraph symbols. So none of these things are printed. They're just there to show me, like, there's a dot for the spacing. There's a black rectangle or square right here. And what that tells me is that this title right here is a heading. Okay. So when you see a black rectangle on the right side margin, that tells you that what you're looking at is a heading. So we want to select this heading And we're going to use from the home menu, the style menu right here. Okay, so the style menu is right in the middle. Do you all have that? Which looks like this. And if you click on this down arrow with a line, a bar up front it, above it, you'll see the different headings that are already created there. Good? Yeah. So we won't call it heading 1. So you just select it, heading 1. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is right click on it. And when I right click on it, we're going to select modify and just see what heading 1 is formatted as. Okay. So when you click modify, you'll see this window that comes up here. And what it shows you is that it's Times New Roman, it's 12-point font, it's bold, it's center justified, it's double spaced, it's black, and you can also see these details down here, right? And another important part to look at is this formatting box on the left-hand side of the modify style box that comes up. And a nice tool to use is the paragraph feature. I can click on paragraph, and this tells me some of the spacing, right? So it tells me if any indentation is put in, if any spacing is automatically put in before a word or after the words, and what the line spacing is. Okay, and we know it's double already. So we're just going to leave it as is. We're going to click OK and OK. Okay, so in the area below that that's highlighted in yellow, or the areas that are highlighted in yellow, this is where you're going to insert information. So the title is going to be the identical title that, that you put on your title page. And then you're going to put your name here. Do that right now. And if we want to get rid of the highlighting, just select your name again and get rid of that. Checking off the highlighting, the date that you submitted this, and then your committee members, right? And you don't need to input any of that information yet, but you will all have a chair and then a couple committee members. Okay. Yeah.
Would those be similar to like my advisor? Okay, so my advisor might be a committee member, but maybe not perhaps the committee chair.
So your advisor is a great question. Your advisor is going to be your chair.
Okay.
And then with your advisor, you're going to decide on a couple other committee members. And the minimum for a graduate committee is 3. And I don't know, I don't think there's a maximum. There might be a maximum of 5 or something, but I don't think there is. Yeah. Okay, any questions? Good.
Last one actually.
Yeah.
For other committee members, it is probably another professor.
Yeah, they can be outside of the university, but generally they're inside the university.
But they're not going to be like another student. It's the
Yeah, it's going to be usually a faculty member or a professional, and it'll be someone that it'll be people that you and your advisor choose.
Is there a due date when you're supposed to the committee?
That's a great question. There is a due date, and I don't remember what it is, but you can find that on the Graduate Education Office website. You could also ask your advisor, and I would say usually by your second quarter of your graduate program, you should have your committee pretty well ironed out. Sometime in your second quarter.
I don't have.
Right, because you're doing a project. Right. Okay. Right. Right. So if we continue to scroll down, this is where you'll put in your abstract. And actually, if we go back to committee membership, let's get rid of the word heading 1 because we don't need that. anymore, right? So if we go to abstract, that should also be heading 1. And if you select it, you should see that heading 1 is boxed up here. You select it. Okay. And again, you're going to put in your thesis title, your name, and then your abstract. Okay. And if we continue, well, I'll point out something else here. You can see that between these pages, page breaks have been put in. And that is just, again, a formatting indicator. It's not going to print. That is to say that this page break is not going to print. It just tells you that a page break has been inserted so that no matter what, after this page, it's going to go to a new page, right? And same with the abstract. When the abstract is complete, it's going to go to a new page. Yeah.
How do you insert a page break?
Great question. So if we start here, and we'll just highlight that, we can do it a couple of different ways, but probably the most common way is go to the layout menu. And where it says breaks here, you can just go to page. And that'll insert it. Okay.
So it doesn't matter if it is at the end of the page, you can just say, or tell the system, break here.
Yep, because you want the next page that comes after the abstract, which is the acknowledgements page. You want that to be on a new page. And this should also be heading 1 too. So if you select it, you should see the heading 1 box selected.
The other text would be like after the acknowledgements, or the other thing that should be like body 1 instead of heading 1.
Oh, good question. So the question is like for this information right here. I've made, because most of your work in your thesis or project report is going to be double spaced, but all the stuff that's your preliminary pages is single spaced. And so if we go here, that's normal, but if we go here, you should see that this font right here is called preliminary pages. Okay. And if you right click on preliminary pages and go to modify, it should be single spacing, and it should be Times New Roman 12 point black. Okay. Select off that. So acknowledgements is also heading 1. Table of contents, if we click on that, it should also be heading 1, and we can get rid of where it says heading 1. And here, right, we'll talk about some of the formatting that's going to go into the table of contents in just a little while, but this is just showing you sort of what it's going to look like, okay, once we create it. So keep going down. We got list of tables, that should be heading 1. We got list of figures, that should be heading 1, and it is. And then we have statement of academic and professional goals, and that should also be heading 1, which it is. So what I'd like you to do now is to grab your statement of academic and professional goals and just paste it in.
And the one that you already checked.
Yep. Then, okay, so the question was about headings and subheadings within the statement of academic and professional goals. And so you want to make sure that academic goals and professional goals, that those are heading 2, right? Because you have the statement of academic and professional goals, which is heading 1. And within the statement of academic and professional goals, you have these 2 subheadings. So you can select them either together or one at a time. And if you go up to your style menu up here in the middle, okay, you probably don't, because are you on the home menu?
Yeah,
So Edgar, if you look on your screen, you got file, home, insert, draw, etc. Is home selected? It is. And you don't
but I
have
can
your
just
style,
type. I can-
but you don't have, oh, for here.
Yeah, I didn't have academic goal and professional goals, like subheadings,
Okay, so yeah, just type in academic goals above where your academic goals paragraph is, and professional goals above where your professional goals paragraph is.
And that should have what? So,
So we're going to use heading 2. Yeah.
got it. And oh yeah, center.
Yeah, it should automatically be center, bold, and not all caps. All right,
Now we found it.
fantastic. What's that?
properly over styles.
Great. I mean, like, that's why we're doing it. Yeah,
So it's like heading 2.
heading 2.
Heading 2.
Mhm. Yeah.
Another question about that. Should for academic goals, should goals also be capitalized? Or should it be just academic and then uncapitalized goals?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question was about capitalization of the words. And so academic should be capitalized and goals should be capitalized. And then if you continue to scroll down, you'll come to your resume. And your resume should be heading 1. And the best way for you to insert this is if you either cut and paste your PDF or convert it to an image and put it in, because it won't keep the proper formatting if you don't do that. Okay.
I have a random question. It's personal, but on that professional goal.
All right. So if we scroll down, we get into the research plan, which is the kind of the nuts and bolts of your research plan. And we're going to set some stuff up here because you've already created some things that's going to go into it. So the first part, chapter 1A should be heading 1, and you can check, see if that's true, and we can get rid of the word heading 1. And then where it says research plan introduction, that should be heading 2, and you can check to make sure that that's correct. It is. And then statement of your overall research goal, that should be heading 3. So if you click on that, you can see that it is heading 3. And I've created these different headings in the formats of those headings. You can change them if you want them to be different than what they are here. And how do you do that? Like, let's say that I wanted to make heading 3 the same as this, but in the middle, center justified. What would I do? Yeah, go to right click and then go to modify. Right, and I can modify it. Right, I can just click on center justify right here and make it center justified. And then down here, you see where it says add the style gallery only in the document, automatically update. If this automatically update is checked, that means that every place where it finds heading 3, it's going to modify it based upon the change that I make. Okay, so that's a nice tool. So I can get rid of where it says heading 3. And then what I would suggest is you can copy and paste your statement of your overall research goal in there. You don't include the reference list, just the text.
There you are.
Yeah.
I have it. I have them on. I actually have Amy's business card in here. I need to send her an email.
So this right here, right, the research plan outline is a rough draft for your thesis, right? But you can see that we're essentially going to set up 2 introductions, right? We got chapter 1A, which is the research plan introduction, and it has all these different components to it, right? And chapter 1B is your thesis introduction. And this is where you're going to remove the scaffolding and write the introduction with no subheadings like you would find it in your thesis and like you would find it if you were writing a primary peer-reviewed research article, right? So we're going to build in a lot of detail, right, as we work through the class, but we're also going to, for chapter 1, pretty much only, we're going to get rid of some of that extra information. And by the end of class, you will have an introduction for your thesis, which should look pretty much like it's going to look when you turn in your thesis. I'm sure you'll edit it and modify it over time, but it will look pretty similar to that. Okay. Okay. So let's go back here. You put in your statement of overall research goal. This is your research plan introduction, chapter 1A. And if you just click on any of your text over here, right, which has your statement of overall research goal, and I'll just type in the word the formatting that you should have should be normal, right? That is, the style here should be normal. Yeah. If it's not, then select all that text and select the normal. So the normal is going to be the default style for most of the text within your document. So it's not the preliminary pages. Normal is going to be, and if we check the modify and select it, it's Times New Roman 12 point, it's black, it's left justified, and it's double line spacing. Okay. And that's just going to be the typical format that we're going to use. Okay.
And I noted that formatting, one side is 1 inch and the other one left side is a little bit wider. Yeah,
great question. So let's talk about the margins. If we go to layout and we go to margins, we have custom margins. So if we select that, we should see what that is. We'll go here, custom margins. And it should be 1 inch everywhere except on the left, 1.5. And the reason why the thesis formatting is 1.5 on the left is because of binding. So if you choose to bind your thesis, it's going to be bound on the left-hand side. And so that's why it's set up like that. All right, 1.5. So it's all set up good, and we can cancel that.
You don't intend to bind your thesis, should it still be 1.5?
Yeah, that's a good question. And to get to like the nuts and bolts of the formatting, so this page right here that we're looking at is page 4.3, large document formatting overview. And there's some links to the thesis formatting guidelines and Cal Poly Graduate Education Office, and then some templates. But if we click on this link right here, it goes to this guide that takes you through everything that's required. And they talk about, right, font style, font size, margins, and so forth, line spacing, page numbers. So we can just scroll down and go that, just check it out. So margins 1.5 on the left, 1 inch everywhere out. Font style is consistent throughout. And these are the different fonts that you can use. They just want it to be consistent. 10 to 12 point font. Text is double spaced throughout, except right in the preliminary pages. And page numbers are located either bottom center, bottom right, or top right. Okay. So everything that you need to know about formatting is here. This document that we're creating is going to be set up following those guidelines as best as possible, so that when you turn it in, it's good to go. Okay. Right. Okay. So we continue to scroll down, right? We got chapter 1B, and this is going to be your thesis introduction. So we're going to get rid of heading 1. We're going to get rid of where it says heading 2. Okay. And if we continue to scroll down, we got chapter 2. And then the heading 2 is literature review. And I just put in a figure here. Okay, and there's a figure a consulting report that I was working on, and then I included a caption. All right, so that caption, let's see what the style is for that caption. So if you select it and then go to the home menu, what is that style? Table of something, table of figures. Okay, so we want to change it to a style called figure caption. Okay, and you see one that's called figure caption in there? I don't, right? So we could create it, but just knowing about this document and then I worked on it before, it's there, it's just hiding. So, and I don't know why it's hiding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the text. And then I'm going to, after I select the text, I'm going to go to apply styles. Okay. And then you'll see this apply styles window come up. And if you click on the little down arrow to the right, see when you scroll through this, if you find figure caption. And when you do, just click on it.
First one, actually.
Yeah, it's the first one.
Just reapply.
Just, yeah, select figure caption so that you'll notice that figure caption has been set up appropriately to be single spaced because figure captions are single spaced. And the other key about that is that once we create a list of figures and we tell Microsoft Word to go through our document, it's going to create our list of figures based upon the style of figure caption. Okay. Everybody good?
So when you select figure caption, do you click on reapply or modify?
You can click reapply.
Because it didn't stick to mine. It went back to the normal.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Okay, so do this. Go ahead and select it again. And then for apply styles, right, make sure you got figure caption and then try reapply this time. Not do anything, any good?
It stays there once I close the window. And you reopen it. Oh yeah, it stays there.
Okay. So now, below that, we have a table, right? And a table caption. I want to put that on the next page. I don't know if yours moved up, but mine moved up. And I'm going to select table 1A. And the style that I want to call this is table caption. So I can get rid of apply styles or I can leave it. But on my style menu in the middle, there should be one that's called table caption. So select that.
You're not justifying. I think it looks nicer if we do.
Center justify?
No, just make it justify.
Oh, like fully justify? You can if you want. So like, let's say Edgar wanted to justify this, right? That everything that's called table caption is justified. Tell us what you do, Edgar.
I just click on that button on the
So you go to modify.
Oh, to keep it like that, it's better to do it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Or actually, I wonder if you do this, if it will do that all the time. So you just went here, made it justified. Let's go and see if that changed it in the style. No. So when you change the formatting in this window right here, it will keep what was originally set up here. But if you want to do it for all of them, then you got to go to modify and modify it. Okay. All right. So another problem with this table is the text that's in this table. If we click there, is normal. And so normal style means that we got double spacing. And in a table, you don't want things double spaced. You want them to be single spaced. Yeah.
I guess just like a quick question for this table. Do we just print a table that we've made somewhere else and just print it in here instead of having the table be formatted
in your processing program, you can do that.
Okay.
As long as it looks good.
Okay.
And as long as it's consistent throughout.
Okay.
Right. So that's between you and your advisor in the thesis office.
Okay.
How you do it. Yeah. So let's select our table text. And what we want to do is see if there's a style that's already created for table text. So let's see if we got anything like that. So there's one called Table of Tables. There's another called Table Text right next to it. And let's pick table text. And the table text is going to change all the formatting. So there's one bit that we want to change, and that's the headers for our columns. We still want that to be bold. So I'm going to go back to that, and probably I want those center justified. So I'll center justify those, make them bold, but everything else looks the way that we want it to look.
Is there maybe even a table heading format?
Yeah, I mean, there might not be, but we could create one.
Okay.
Right. That's a good point. Right. So let's say that we wanted to create a formatting that's called table heading. And before we do that, though, let me just see what table caption is. Table caption is single line spacing. It's 12-point font, Times New Roman, and it's black. And it's left justified. Yeah, single spacing. So let's say that we wanted to create a heading style that's called table heading. So we could create a style, right? So if we wanted to create a style, create a new style, and we want to modify it, and we want it to be style. We want our style to be based upon probably table text is what I think would be what we want. And the name we could call it is table heading, like that. And then this is where we could change stuff. So we say table heading is always going to be bold, right? It's always going to be single space, left justified, or maybe we want to center justified. Yeah. And I'm going to check this and go to paragraph and make sure that these are all zeros. I'll say okay. And if we wanted to automatically update, we could check this box right here. Okay, so I can do that. Click OK. And it changed this because my cursor is on that, but I want to move that back to table caption. And this is what I want to be called table heading. So it's that one right there. All right. Okay. So let's see what else we got.
And actually, just before you go any further, for the table caption and for the figure caption, do we want those to be the same? Because right now there are two different headings. I don't know, they might be formatted the same, but like, would you want them throughout your thesis to be the same?
Great question. So the question is for your table captions and your figure captions, do we actually want to have them be the same style? And we don't. And the reason for that is because in your table of contents, you are going to create a list of tables and a list of figures. And so they need to be different so that when you create your list of figures and your list of tables, Microsoft Word is going through your document, and in your list of tables, it's just looking for table caption, right? We're going to tell it just to look for table caption. In your list of figures, we're going to tell it just to look for figure caption.
What would you recommend to do to differentiate them? Just have them be under a different format, even though like they may have the same, say like you have table caption for the table caption and figure caption for the figure caption, but they are essentially the same. Do you want them just to have a different format so you can search them better? Or would you want them to be, say, like the figure caption to be at 11-point font and the table to be at a different font, or something of that line?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it whatever way is easiest for you.
Mhm.
If, as you're working through your document, you create a list of tables or a list of figures, you can go to that list of tables or list of figures, in your document. And if you hit the control key and the page number for it, it'll take you straight to it.
Mhm.
So you don't have to like go through, scroll through your whole document to find where your tables and your figures are.
Okay.
That's one way to do it. There's also an outline view you can select that brings up a window on the left side, and it goes through the different headings in your document and they become links. And so you can just click on those different links and it'll take you to the different places.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So chapter 3 now, right? Where the first one should be heading 1. The second one, materials and methods, should be heading 2. And it is. And then all these other headings should be heading 3, except for when we start with analytical methods. So I'm just going to, I'll just select the first 2 and apply the style of heading 3 to them. And then for the next ones, I'm going to apply the style of heading 4. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the analytical methods, quality control, and statistics, that all fits within the methods heading. Okay, so heading 4. And then I'm going to get rid of my parenthetical information.
Is there a way to check that you actually have that, like in the whole document? Like for instance, I don't know if who's rewriting the thesis, if they're actually gonna go and scan the document that everything is like they're asking for. Is there a way?
So there's the graduate education office, I believe, has a checklist, but when you turn in your thesis, they have student assistants that know the formatting guidelines for what Cal Poly requires. And so their job is to do that job. But the more you have it the way that they want it, the better it's going to be and the easier it's going to be, of course. Right. So heading 4 is blue, right? And we don't want it to be blue. So let's go ahead and select those. And then why don't you just make heading 4 however you want it? Okay. Green. Yeah, you could make it green.
Okay.
Do we need to check automatically update all the time?
That's a great question. So let's do this. I'm going to cancel what I'm just doing, and I'm just going to have my cursor on analytical methods. Okay. And then I'm going to go and modify that to be how I want it. And I am going to check automatically update. And what it will do is it'll go through my document and look for every place where I have heading 4 and change it the way that I envision or the way that I want it to be changed. Isn't that wonderful?
It does. Let me change one and it brings you.
It's all of it there. Okay. So we have like the nuts and bolts of our document ready to go. And the next steps will be to do a little more fine tuning to tell Microsoft Word to create a table of contents, to create a list of tables and a list of figures. And then sometimes in your document, you might want to make some pages landscape orientation and some portrait orientation because maybe you have a huge data table or something like that. So we will also talk about how Microsoft Word can do that too. Okay. But we will, unless you have some questions, we'll take a break on this. We'll take a break in general, and we'll also stop doing this for today and then come back to it on Wednesday.
Quick question.